what I understand, there's a Russian spy ship right off the coast of Hawaii, whatever, So, what I figured that I won't do a lot of diagrams because diagrams are to be interpreted, well, without knowing the English language. So, if I just use English, it's almost like a soft suppressive um, tactic. So, the information won't be more disseminated in Russia as if I had all these diagrams and everything else. So I'll just be speaking English and using no diagrams, but pretty much whatever. I don't really want to use the map. I want to explain it in English. So only people who are fluent in English could really do that, understand it to and explain it, so it won't be mass disseminated out. It's easier, less eyes on it, the better. You know, um, especially in the information age. But I think the question with the tanks, that we're inwardly talking about, everybody's just like this political thing, and I think it's a lot more simpler than that. It There needs to be this debate with tanks, um, so it's going to play out how it plays out. But I guess for us, I think we should just be like, it's not really a huge deal. Do they need tanks? Yeah. You know, um, do they need 300 tanks? And that's to start with. So as soon as we put up tanks as fast as possible, we're good. And probably in like 100 batches, 100 1 month, 100 next one, 100 the month after that, and train them like crazy on 100, because you got to do it where it's like these chunks that are sustainable, like these tranches that are feasible, not sustainable, but feasible, right? And then we know that they're losing like somehow a certain number of tanks a month. And my thinking is we keep giving them tanks at a level faster than they obviously lose them. But I think that number's around 50, whatever. I was thinking around 100 or whatever, but combined total 350, 350 after that. And what we're debating as Americans and European, because Germany is a smaller country, they could mobilize quicker their industry. But doing that, they're giving all their tanks to Ukraine, and they're right there. They're right next to Russia. So it's really, they need guarantees from us, and we could put out. They're more advanced than us, but we're all like, oh, Abrams this, Abrams that. But it's America. It's so great. Blah blah blah. Blah. Leopard 2 is honestly, let's face it, we don't. Oh, it's shit's from the 1970s. There is modernized, whatever. So, but we could put out more of it. And once we get going, we could put out a lot. So what we probably need to do, everybody needs to increase our defense um, industry up a notch. We're now the Defense Production Act. We're contacting different companies, be like, are you prepared to make these? And whatever. We're It's not hurting our economy. It's improving our economy at this point. But worst case scenario, can we switch over to a wartime industry? So right now, okay, just pick it up more, more javelins, or making more armored cars. And definitely the private industry, more armored cars, without a doubt. So maybe the last run of Abrams tanks, and then we switch over the Abrams to X, something of that nature. And that's basically what's happening. So I sort of understand that it's just all trivial stuff that they're going back and forth. But I guess, Meanwhile, Ukraine's just like, I need more tanks. Yeah, I see. Yeah, definitely. They're going to get the tanks. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. We already know that. Poland's already training them, which is good. Um, so I mean, it's just. But the thing is, it's like they want to go on the offensive. It's like I don't know if that's the best idea because you want to counterattack. You want to go where they're the weakest, and you just don't know where Russia's coming in at you. With 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people. And this year, they want to. They made quotes of saying, "I want 1.5 million people in the military." And if you look at the numbers, that means 500,000 of that more than likely is going to be devoted purely to Ukraine. I'm not saying like I know it's like where are they going to attack? And the question's kind of obvious. If they're going to attack where Ukraine is least capable of defending, and they're going to find it out by probing the whole front line, applying pressure to the whole line, and you don't know how much um, they could put in there. What did they put into they call it this place? It's all in Russian. Kharkiv. I don't know, 20,000, something like that. I don't know. Someone else would know the particular, but it's numbers is sort of comp, but it's the how they make the army group, right? So in that, how they make whatever's in Kharkiv initially, when they put the Mobics or whatever in, those are the small groups of whatever, with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. They're going to push all along the line and try to find the weakness, try to probe for weakness. And then they probably have 100,000 go where they feel they could push through or need to push through. That is my thinking. And it's so they want to overstress the whole front line and just barrel right through it, where the weakest or need to go to the Dnieper. And that's why I just don't understand why we don't have civil engineers and other people constantly constructing fortifications. Because there needs to be like a ratio of how much fortification, square footage, you could do that. I mean, I hate to do like this number thing, like say if you have a mile square footage fortification, it slows down the enemy X number of times. But the thing about it is, that's why you just constantly got to constantly build, like nonstop. They're in there digging with fucking shovels and shit like that. You need every kind of earth mover, excavator, um, just to keep digging and keep pouring concrete, cement, and everything like that because that frees up um, vehicles and slows them more and can deal with more masses of people. Because you could only have so many weapons up at the front. You gotta dig those fortifications. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you just have to do it. And we're not focusing on that. We're gonna finally realize it somewhere later in the war. We should have done this because it takes time to do that, and it sucks. You know what I'm saying? It fucking sucks that it probably takes 100 fucking man hours to slow them down 2 hours. Yeah, or 100 man hours slow down 1 hour, or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about? But in that 1 hour, how many people are you killing? How many vehicles are you destroying? You know what I'm talking about? So you just constantly got to do it until you figure it out. That's why you need civil engineers. You need actual engineers that can do the numbers and figure it out on the spot. We need to do this and that and that, and that stops them the most over here. I don't know what that is. You need people to do that on the fly. They're these Renaissance people up at the front, and a lot of them, and the people to construct that up at the front, and all associated stuff with that. Along Belarus, whatever. So your main weapons can be focused on the Russians. You know what I'm saying? Or if the Russians come up top over there, you know what I'm saying? So move and shift. You know. And then the mobile defense behind that. You know, so you have like what Rommel did not was able to capable of doing at D-Day. He was prevented from Hitler from basically doing a flanking attack into Normandy, held back on it, but he knew exactly what to do. He wanted to attack the salient or the bridgehead or whatever, and just annihilate with his armored group, with his Panthers. You know, so and that's what we need to give to Zelensky is that capability when they break through the line. They break it through the line, right? The Russians breaking through the line, creating that salient, whatever, that we apply force not where they're breaking through initially. We solidify the line first. We hold the line right at, at the right where, so they don't flank it, whatever. So we guard our flanks. And the armor group just comes up and just severs it. So you try to counter pinch them, not counterattack the initial attack, but right at the flanks attack. So you close back the line up. So now you have the attached fucking in a perfect scenario. The salient's closed off, and then you just right through your mobile defense of your armor group, your combined arm tactics. You just push up right through it, attack into it, where it's weakest for both sides, whatever. So they can't be resupplied. So you don't go straight at it. You attack it from, they push it in, and then you just close it. And then your mobile armored vehicles, tanks, and everything is able to destroy what comes through. But you have to absorb that initial attack. But they're going to break through at some point. But you just want to rush in the gap or whatever, You want to close it as much as possible. And how do you do that? Well, we have to figure that out. And one of those things you have to do, I mean, it's just like, oh, we'll do that. I don't fucking know, but I do know they need tanks to do that. I do need they have to be very rateable, good intelligence, but what they do need is those clustered ammunitions. Because once they come through, like a killer, you can't feasibly destroy the whole road network coming into Ukraine from Russia. You can only destroy the road network in Ukraine because obviously there's issues destroying civilian infrastructure in Russia. But if you get cluster ammunitions, like as they come in, you can obviously soften them up by dropping, those munitions and mines and everything. On the main roads, you want to just pulverize it, so they come back, so they cross over the road. It's like a bridge. Let's look at the road after we destroy all the bridges. We got to look at these main roads as bridges themselves. So as the main group of the army comes through, we got to just annihilate that road, that paved way. So they could not pass through that road with ease and delay it as much as possible and make it a morass as much as possible so that they can't get the benefit of the paved road. So the more time it takes them to transverse that road, you can lay more ordnance down. You can destroy more tanks. Now they're trickling through at a slower rate. And how do you do that? You have these cluster bombs that drop mines, whatever. I think on them they blow up after 48 hours. We got to remove that, and it has to just be blow up if they are not using 48. I mean, well, they probably disarm in 48 hours. They have to blow up in 48 hours, so they just constantly destroy that fucking road, or even like white phosphorus and then just cluster images, so it just pulverizes it. Be nice if you could just bulldoze that road, but and that's what you want to do. You want to have nothing coming in to It's very difficult for them to get into the conflict zone. But it's not feasible to do a whole network. But you can at least concentrate on a few hundred meters of them coming into the front line. And if you think about it, if they push you back, you focus on 100 meters. If they push you back more, you focus on another 100 meters. Now you're making these gaps of impassable road. Now, as you come back and you're being pushed back or whatever, now they have to get through this. Now they have to get through that. Now they get this destroyed road or whatever. And your road's all fine over here. Because you're constantly building, constantly repairing. You know what I'm talking about? You're covering both sides of it. Not only are you putting weapons, you're doing everything you can so those weapons are maintained. You have apply more guns directed at them, and they get there quicker and they're more mobile, whatever, you know? You should even be building roads, you know, along the line, you know? Parallel to the line, give or take, you know? Constantly building. And that's the only way to do it with these masses of people. And Ukraine has the population. And this is perfect for us, for the United States and NATO, because now we could put non-combat people in there, contractors, not just fighters, you know, that could build all this. Because it does. If you look at it on the in a macro level, you can only have a certain amount of tanks, but it will increase by having them quicker to get to where they need to go. It's like you're increasing the number of tanks without increasing the number of tanks. You know what I'm talking about? Because they could get there, theirs can't. Like there's an attack up here, and there's like 20 tanks. You know what I'm saying? But we could get 50 tanks up there super quick. But they have like 100 tanks down here, but it takes them so long to get up there. We already beat them in detail, and then we can sit down over there and attack them on the way over here. You gotta be quick, you know what I'm talking about? So there's a road network. You destroyed their capability of mobility. Not just their tanks, but you gotta attack their mobility in every way, shape, or form. And that's what it's gonna come down to when you are gonna be outnumbered. No. And sir, what is this? Where did they capture these guys? Miss Bakhmut, Solidar. Let them fill those mines with ammunition, everything. You know where those mines are. Just drop ordnance on it. Bunker buster. Blow it up. It's the only like tactical thing I have. It's the only thing I'm gonna give. Everything else is dangerous, so I'll just say that. Bigger strategic type things I'll state. But it's going to be at some point. We're going to have to give the Ukrainians Moabs. And they'll completely, a few of them will completely obliterate a base. And then I was thinking, like on a deeper level for us, like why is our defense industry? We gonna make precautions now that if you have defense contractor that above ground, there has to be written into law that you have to have a subterranean component to it. At the a factory and a redundant factory underneath. And the more you build above ground, there has to be a ratio you build above ground to be redundant to that. Even our own bases, only our military base should always have a redundancy. You have barracks, and then now, like, whenever you build a new base or have a base, you have to have a barracks underneath that. You know what I'm saying? As a redundancy. Peacetime residency, wartime residency. You know what I'm talking about? Something in that fact. It's just crazy. But it's what Russia's banking on is they can mobilize their whole country, their whole population, and Ukrainians won't be committed to doing that. And they'll just start marching people over, you know. But and at some point, China will come in and supply people, you know, into this conflict, and they'll take notes. How do you do that? How do you force your population that we have too many people in China to go to war? Because you know they could. It's because it's more advantageous for China to go to war with NATO and easily scoop up Taiwan after NATO's defeated over in Europe than to try to have um, a naval war with the United States. So I'm pretty sure they did the calculus, and I'm doing calculus on that too, so to speak. So I think maybe they're faking like they want Taiwan, no doubt, but I think it's a misdirect. I think they're trying to take the template of how Russia is going to institute martial law, apply it to China, and then you'll see masses of Chinese conscripts coming over. That's my thinking. Plausible to a degree, strongly plausible. And then you could, and at that level, well, I don't want to say that far in advance. I mean, it would be doable. But the thing is, we gotta not titrate up, but expand our defense industry, and definitely curtail China's. Like, oh, there's got to be some kind of like something in like building explosives or something like that that we could just outright cut off from China. Some magical component. I don't know what that is, but something that makes it go boom. And if they don't have it, it doesn't go boom or doesn't go as much boom. And be like, nope, China can't have that now, ever. You know what I'm saying? And we already get all of those resources now. We get those we corner the market on defense uh very rare materials if there are those rare elements. I don't know what they are. People have to dig into that, but we actually make sure we have a monopoly, outright monopoly on those things. Obviously, in the major stuff, uh, to everything else. I know, like car batteries have lithium. Um, whatever it is, make sure they just don't have access to it. And as soon as China, because they're going to play the cards to the last possible moment, and I think they're going to stockpile everything for a while. Because China's navy is a joke, and we could just destroy it like nothing. So all the ports are going to be gone, so their global trade is going to end. So, and they must know that. But And I think it's fairly obvious that Belarus is going to. Because you got to look like this: Belarus is going to attack Ukraine. Moscow wants to depopulate any fighting male in Belarus as much as possible and destroy the Belarusian culture and make it Russia. And they're already de facto occupied. And it's just like what Franco knew Hitler was going to do. If I allow you in, you're never going to leave. And the Nazis told him as much. And it's too late for Lukashenko. So he's going to, these people are going to commit it. This is crazy. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, Belarusians are condemned to die on a lost cause to expand Russia. And Russia's going to move in, and there's no one left to stop them because they're all got obliterated in Ukraine. It's going to be part of Russia. So they get, basically, Russia has free troops that it could just, lives it could just destroy. And China's looking at this like what Russia's doing is weakening America and NATO, so they could attack. So what we got to do to this whole thing now, and what's argued now with the tanks, getting back to the tanks, is we need to get stronger while we supply Ukraine. So make sure that Germany's coming out with a new tank schematic, whatever that is. You know, of course, Germany has a new tank schematic. The Germans, so there's some crazy shit they're coming up with. You know, put it out there, and I think that's what they're kind of debating too. Put a last run of Leopard 2s or whatever it is, and then make the new tank. Pump it on. They could do it, but they can't put it out of capacity as we can, but they could change over to the new tank faster than we can because they're a small country and they're a lot more efficient than we are. And here we are, you know, arrogant, you know. So that's the whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, Germany doesn't want to do this. Hey, you know, we're doing this, like, and we're so, and our Abrams is this so, and then we look at it, and I can't get to you. Some Americans like looking, you know, sit down on German tanks, like, damn, look at all this shit, you know. And we sit in Abrams, it's like, it was made here, made in America. Yeah, it's like looking at black and white TV. They go in a German tank, you know, it's like 3D, fucking. Virtual reality shit and everything else like that, you know, whatever. It's all politics, man. It's all whatever you all want to argue about, you know. Give shit. They need tanks, give them. He needs 300, probably needs 500, whatever. And they're like, he probably needs more after 300. No fucking shit. You know, they get destroyed in combat. It's, you know, they don't go there and they just miraculously survive, you know. Whatever. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Ukraine for the time being. Oh my god, it's just so crazy. All right. Ukraine, wish the best of skill to you, not luck. Keep up the good fight. I always pronounce it long. Slavic Ukraine. So I'm out. Get what they need. And let us improve while giving them weapons. And not lower our combat effectiveness, lower our national security, but improving it at the same time. All right. I'm out. Peace.